Si Judah at si Tamar. Genesis 38 verses 1 to 30. Nang panahong iyon, humiwalay si Judah sa kanyang mga kapatid at nakipanirahan kay Hira na isang Adalomita. Napangasawa niya roon ang anak ni Suwa, isang Kananeo. Nagkaanak sila ng 3 lalaki. Ang ipinangalan sa panganay, ang pangalaway Onan, at Sela naman ang pangatlo. Si Judah ay nasa Kiseb nang ipanganak si Sela. Pinapag-asawa ni Judah ang kanyang panganay na si at napangasawa nito si Tamar. Napakasama ng ugali ni kaya't nagalit sa kanya si Yahweh at siya'y pinatay. Kaya't sinabi ni Judah kay Onan, tungkulin mong sipingan ang biyuda ng iyong kapatid upang magkaroon siya ng mga anak sa pamamagitan mo. Alam ni Onan na hindi ituturing na kanya ang magiging anak niya sa kanyang hipag. Kaya itinatapon niya sa labas ang kanyang binhi upang wag magkaanak ang kanyang kapatid sa pamamagitan niya. Ito'y suklam na suklam kay Yahweh, kaya't pinatay rin siya. Sinabi ni Judah sa manugang niyang si Tamar, umuwi ka na muna sa inyo at hintayin mong lumaki ang bunso kong si Sela. Sinabi niya ito dahil sa takot na baka mangyari kay Sela ang sinapit ng kanyang mga kapatid. Kaya't umuwi muna si Tamar sa kanyang ama. Pagkalipas ng panahon ay namatay ang asawa ni Judah. Matapos ang pagluluksa, nagpunta si Judah sa Timnat para tingnan ang paggugupit sa balahibo ng kanyang mga tupa. Kasama niya ang kaibigan niyang si Hera na taga Adulam. Samantala, may nagsabi kay Tamar na pupunta si Timnat, ang kanyang biyanan, upang gupitan ng balahibo ang mga tupa nito. Pagkarinig nito, hinubad niya ang kanyang damit panduksa. Nagtalukbong siya at naupo sa pagpasok ng Enaim, bayang nadadaanan patungo sa Timnat. Ginawa niya ito sapagkat alam niyang binata na si Sela, ngunit hindi pa sila ipinakakasal ng kanyang biyanan. Nakita ni Judah si Tamar. Inakala niyang ito'y isang babaeng nagbebenta ng aliw sapagkat may takip ang mukha. Lumapit siya at inalok ang babae na makipagtalik sa kanya. Hindi niya alam na ito ang kanyang manugang. Anong ibabayad mo sa akin? Tanong ng babae. Sumagot si Judah, padadalhan kita ng isang batang kambing. Payag ako, sabi ng babae, kung bibigyan mo ako ng isang sangla hanggat hindi ko tinatanggap ang ipadadala mo. Anong sangla ang gusto mo? Tanong ni Judah. Sumagot siya, ang iyong singsing na pantatak kasama ang kadena at ang tungkod mo. Ibinigay niya ang hinihingi ng babae at sila'y nagsiping. Nagdalang tao si Tamar. Pagkatapos, umuwi siya at inalis ang kanyang talukbong at isinuot muli ang kanyang damit panluksa. Pag-uwi ni Judah, isinugo niya ang kaibigan niyang taga Adulam upang dalhin sa babae ang ipinangako niyang kambing at bawiin naman ang iniwang sangla. Nagtanong-tanong siya sa mga lalaking taga roon at ang sagot ng mga ito'y walang gayong babae roon. Nagbalik kay Judah ang kanyang kaibigan at sinabi ang nangyari sa kanyang lakad. At sinabi ni Judah, hayaan mo na sa kanya ang iniwanan kong sangla. Baka tayo'y pagtawanan pa ng mga tao. Dinala mo na sa kanya ang kambing, ngunit wala siya roon. Makaraan ang 3 buwan, may nagsabi kay Judah, ang manugang mong si Tamar ay naglaro ng apoy, ngayoy nagdadalang tao na. Ilabas ninyo siya at sunugin, ang utos ni Judah. Habang siya'y kinakaladkad papalabas, ipinasabi niya sa kanyang biyanan, ang may-ari ng mga ito ang ama ng aking dinadala. Tingnan mo kung kanino ang singsing, kadena at tungkod na ito. Nakilala ni Judah ang iniwan niyang sangla, kaya't sinabi niya, wala siyang kasalanan. Ako ang nagkulang. Dapat sana'y ipinakasal ko siya kay Sela. At hindi na niya ito muling sinipingan. Dumating ang panahon ng panganganak ni Tamar at natungklasang kambal ang kanyang isisilang. Sa oras ng kanyang panganganak, lumabas ang kamay ng isa at ito'y tanalian ng hilot ng pulang sinulid upang makilala ang unang inianak. Ngunit iniurong ng sanggol ang kanyang kamay at naunang lumabas ang kanyang kakambal. Sinabi ng hilot, ano't nakikipagsiksikan kang palabas? Dahil dito, Fares ang ipinangalan sa bata. Ang sanggol na may taling pulang sinulid ang huling iniluwal at ito'y pinangalan ng Sarah. Judah and Tamar. Genesis 38 verses 1 to 30. At that time, Judah left his brothers and went down to stay with a man Adullam named Hira. There, Judah met the daughter of Canaanite man named Zua. He married her and made love to her. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son who was named Er. She conceived again and gave birth to a son and named him Onam. She gave birth to still another son and named him Shelah. It was Kezeb that she gave birth to him. Judah got a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death. Then Judah said to Onan, sleep with your brother's wife, and fulfill your duty to her as brother-in-law to raise up offspring for your brother. But Onan knew that the child would not be his. So whenever he slept with his brother's wife, he spilled his semen on the ground to keep from providing offspring for his brother. What he did was wicked in the Lord's sight. So the Lord put him to death also. Judah then said to his brother-in-law Tamar, live as a widow in your father's household until my son Shelah grows up. For he thought he may die too, just like his brothers. So Tamar went to live in her father's household. After a long time, Judah's wife, the daughter of Shua, died. When Judah had recovered from his grief, he went up to Tamar, to the man who was shearing his sheep, and his friend Hira, the Adullamite, went with him. When Tamar was told, "Your father-in-law is in the way to Timnah to share his sheep," she took off his widow's clothes, covered herself with a veil to disguise herself, and then sat down at the entrance to Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that though Shelah had not grown up, she had not given her a wife. When Judah saw her, he thought he was a prostitute, for she had covered her face, not realizing that she was his daughter-in-law. He went over to her the roadside and said, "Come now, let me sleep with you." "And what will you give me to sleep with you?" she asked. "I'll send you a young goat from my flock," he said. "Will you give me something as a pledge until you send it?" she asked. He said, "What pledge would I give you?" "Your seal in its cord and the staff in your hand," she answered. So he gave them to her and slept with her, and she became pregnant with him. After she left, she took off her veil and put on her widow's clothes again. Meanwhile, Judah, the young goat by his friend the Adullamite, in order to get pledge back from the woman, but he did not find her. He asked the man who lived there, "Where is the shrine prostitute who was beside the road as Enaim?" "There wasn't been any shrine prostitute here," they said. So he went back to Judah and said, "I didn't find her. Besides the man who lived there hasn't been any shrine prostitute here." Then Judah said, "Let her keep what she has, or we will become a laughingstock. After all, I did send her this young goat, but you didn't find her." About 3 months later, Judah was told, "Your daughter-in-law Tamar is guilty of prostitution, and as a result, she is now pregnant." Judah said, "Bring her out and have her burned to death." As she was being brought out, she sent a message to her father-in-law. "I am pregnant by the man who owns this," she said. And she added, "See if you recognize whose seal and cord and staff these are." Judah recognized them and said, "She is more righteous than I, since I wouldn't give her to my son Shelah." And he did not sleep with her again. When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. And she was giving birth. One of them put out his hand. So the midwife took a scarlet thread and tied it on his wrist and said, "This one came out first." But when he drew back his hand, his brother came out and said, "So this is how you have broken out." And he was named Perez. Then his brother, who had the scarlet thread on his wrist, came out, and he was named Zerah.